Hi, hello and welcome back to F1 Challenge VB. My name is Mephisto and our epic journey through the history of Formula 1 continues today with the second round of the 1966 season, the Belgian Grand Prix. It was held on the 12th of June, it had 18 entries, 15 of them took part in the race with 10 ending up retiring. The race consisted of 28 laps completed in 2 hours, 9 minutes and 11 seconds. John Surtees started the race from pole with Rindt in second. Stewart started from third but retired on the opening lap after a massive accident. Jack Brabham started fourth, Bandini fifth, and Bonnier was sixth on the grid, but also retired on the opening lap after suffering a big crash. Surtees led the entire race and eventually crossed the line to win the Belgian Grand Prix from Rindt, who finished second 42.1 seconds after Surtees. Bandini moved from fifth to third and was 1 lap down. Brabham kept his position and finished fourth, he was 2 laps down. Ginther climbed from 8th to 5th and was 3 laps down. He was the last man to be classified as a finisher. Guy Ligier would have been 6th but was more than 4 laps behind, which meant that he did not complete 90% of race distance. Surtees was the fastest man of the race, posting a lap of 4 minutes 17.7 seconds. Welcome to the beautiful Spa-Francorchamps circuit, where a lap starts off with a short sprint down the hill, then up through Eau Rouge, a very fast and tricky corner that requires nerves of steel. From here we move on to Le Combe, a medium speed left-hander with a bit of a camber to allow faster cornering. The track opens up from here, and after a very long right-hander we come into Malmedy, a fast blind left-right chicane. Be extremely careful through here, as the slightest mistake could end your race. This brings us on to the longest straight on the track, the Masta Straight, which ends with the Masta Kink, a high-speed left-right sweeper. Next is Tavolo, a long right-hander. Pay attention as the corner tightens through the second half. After a while we come through Blanchimont, a fast left-hander. Make sure not to touch the outside of the track, as that could cost you valuable time. And lastly we come into La Source, a tight right-hand hairpin. Brake just before the billboards, take as wide a line as possible and don't apply too much power on the exit. But that brings us around onto the main straight, and that is a lap around the Spa-Francorchamps circuit. And here we are in qualifying, coming around to set our first flying lap, a 3:33.838. Not very fast, although we do get into pole. However, immediately Chris Irwin destroys our pole time, so here we are coming around to improve on that, and we set a 3:29.262, which is much faster. And at this point I felt quite comfortable with my lap time, so I decided to, well, pretty much end the qualifying session there. So hopefully that was a good decision. And here are the previous Belgian Grand Prix winners. The last time we managed to win here was in 1964, so not that long ago. Hopefully this will be another one of those, and that was a weird glitch. Anyway, Andy Hicks starting from pole with Jack Brabham in second, Mike Parks in third, fourth is John Surtees, Jochen Rindt starting from fifth, with Richie Ginther rounding off the top 6. In 7th we have Chris Irwin, followed by Denny Holm in 8th. 9th is Joe Siffert, followed by Moses Solana in 10th. In 11th we have Chris Lawrence, Joe Bonnier sitting in 12th. In 13th we have Ronnie Bucknam in the Honda, Guy Ligier 14th. 15th is Lorenzo Bandini, Jim Clark 16th. 17th Mike Spence, Peter Arundel sitting in 18th, followed by Jackie Stewart in 19th. In 20th we have John Taylor. 21st is Graham Hill, followed by Bob Bondurant in 22nd. 23rd is Pedro Rodriguez, followed by Dan Gurney in 24th. Then in 25th we have Giancarlo Baghetti. 26th Bob Anderson. 27th is Chris Amon. 28th Ludovico Scarfiotti. 29th Ines Ireland, Geki Russo is 30th, 31st Trevor Taylor, and Phil Hill bringing up the rear in 32nd. So that is the grid lineup for this year's Belgian Grand Prix. Hopefully a good race for everyone involved, but we will have to see. Obviously we would like to win, but if not, let's try at least to finish in the points, and hopefully we'll have a better race than in Monaco. That was an absolutely atrocious race, but it seemed that you guys had fun with it, so whatever, I don't mind. As we now come up through Eau Rouge, and I kind of had a bad start there. I was fiddling, trying to keep my car from rolling down the hill. You need to hold the brakes to prevent the car from rolling down the hill, and I was kind of late to get on to the power, but maybe we'll be able to somehow get back up the ranks at some point. But we are now down in 11th, just behind Ronnie Bucknam there, so again, not a very good start. And here is a replay of that start. Again, it was quite slow. I was trying to work all the free pedals all at the same time, and that's kind of difficult, but at least we got going. We didn't kill the engine, so that's, well, good, obviously, so cannot complain about that too much. And we have a replay of Giancarlo Baghetti here, who loses his brakes coming into the combs. He pulls to the side and is out of the race already, so we have retirements already, and we barely just begun the race as we now move a little bit further, and we just passed Ronnie Bucknam and Denny Holm. We are now up in 9th, looking at Joe Siffert right in front of us in the red and white helmet. Hopefully we'll be able to overtake him as well at some point as we come towards the end of the lap. And I kind of messed my line into there. I came in too hot, broke too late, and well, we managed to move up into 8th, but that could have been very, very bad. That could have ended our race very quickly, so let's not try to do that too often. Anyway, we now move on to lap 2, and Chris Irwin just overtook us there as we come through into Malmedy, and Ronnie Bucknam there having a peek on the outside couldn't quite stick the move, so we managed to keep 9th for the moment. Later on we catch back up to Chris Irwin and pass him for 8th place as we now are looking at Jack Brabham. Hopefully we'll be able to overtake him as well. We're now on lap 2, towards the end of lap 2 even, as we come through Blanchimont here. Maybe we can catch Brabham coming into the hairpin at the end of the lap, who knows. Actually no, we move on to lap 3 here, and Jack Brabham was a bit slow there, not quite sure why, but we move up into 7th, just 1 place below the point, so that should be nice. Somehow later we move up into 6th place, not quite sure how it happened. I think I skipped a overtake, but anyway, we now overtake Moises Solana for 5th, which means 2 points if we manage to finish on in this position, as we now start lap 5 and overtake Richie Ginster for 4th place, which is fantastic, chasing after Joe Siffert now, so hopefully we'll be able to catch up to him as well at some point. That would be very, very nice. As we come towards the halfway point of lap 5, coming through Stavolo here, for some reason Siffert decided to brake hard coming into this fast right-hander. No reason whatsoever. I was trying to slipstream him, and just as I wanted to move to the left to overtake him, he broke hard, and well, you saw that, I crashed into him. And here's a replay of Jim Clark coming around. He pulls to the side, and it looks like there's smoke coming out of his engine, the rear of his car, so his engine is fried, and that is his race over. As we now see a replay of Phil Hill coming into the pits at the end of lap 5. Apparently he had a gearbox problem, so he is also out of the race, but we are still here on lap 5 towards the end, as we're just about to overtake Richie Ginster for 3rd position. Brake hard into the hairpin. Make sure not to do the same mistake as the first time around, because luck might not be on our side every time. Anyway, we move on to lap 6 now, as we just overtake John Surtees for 2nd position, and Jochen Rindt, our target, is right in front of us. Hopefully we'll be able to catch him as well soon enough, as we take a look at a replay of Moises Solana, who has a problem with his brakes. He pulls to the side of the track, and he is out of the Belgian Grand Prix. Actually, he comes back onto the track, but luckily he is off the racing line, so that doesn't pose too much of a threat to anyone. And here is a replay of Ronnie Bucknam coming through Malmedy there, and there's smoke coming out of the rear of his car as well, and he pulls to the side and is also out of the Belgian Grand Prix. So those are the retirements, all of the retirements actually, as we now start lap 7, and we just overtake Jochen Rindt for the lead of the Belgian Grand Prix. Absolutely fantastic. Hopefully we can keep this all the way to the end. Not only a couple of laps left, so let's try and keep it clean as we come around to finish lap 7 here. I kind of touched the pit wall there, but we set the fastest lap of the race, which is obviously very, very good. It shows that we are actually quite on pace, if not even better than the race pace. And here is a replay of us coming around to set the fastest lap. So once again, I'm quite happy with that. So luckily it happened as we now come around to finish the final lap of the race and take the win of the Belgian Grand Prix. So yeah, that's quite nice. And here are the race results. Rindt finished the second, Surtees third, fourth, Richie Ginster fifth, Chris Irwin Bonnier sixth, and well, we have the fastest lap of the race. Almost everyone finished, minus 5 people, so there were a lot of people who actually finished, especially since we consider that there were 32 people who started, so that's quite pleasing and quite refreshing compared to that dreadful Monaco Grand Prix at the start of the season. But this was the Belgian Grand Prix. Quite happy with the result, quite happy with the overall racing. Had a few battles, so there's not much I can complain about. So yeah, let's move on. And here are the career statistics. This was Andy's 143rd Grand Prix. His best start is from first, has 16 pole positions, has set 27 fastest laps. His best finishes in first, has completed 95 races, 74 of them in the points, has won 43 Grand Prix, 4 at Indianapolis 500, 6 in Monaco, has 8 championships under his belt, has scored a total of 507 points, has retired 48 times, has experienced 3,079 out of 3,774 laps, has 7 bronze trophies, 16 silver trophies, 43 gold trophies, and as an extension, 43 podiums. And here is a quick look at the championship standings. Bob Anderson and Andy Higgs sharing the lead with Jochen Rindt in third, fourth John Surtees, fifth Richie Ginster, Chris Irwin sixth. The last person to score points is Joe Bonnier in seventh, and bringing up the bottom of the standings is Phil Hill down in 32nd. So those are the driver standings. Let's now move on to the constructors. And here we have DW Racing Enterprises and Bruce McLaren Motor Racing sharing the lead of the championship with Cooper in third, Ferrari fourth, fifth Brabham, Anglo-Swiss Racing Team sixth, and bringing up the bottom of the standings are Honda Research and Development Company down in 18th. So that was the Belgian Grand Prix, a very good race, a very good result overall, I would say, and thankfully it wasn't a repeat of Monaco. I was a bit concerned that that's what the season would be like, but thankfully that's not the case. So we can rest assured that we will have some fairly good racing for the rest of the season. At least I'm hoping so. Anyway, our next race is the French Grand Prix at Reims. This is going to be the last race ever to be held at Reims, so, you know, it's kind of sad to see the circuit go, although it's nothing, in my opinion, nothing really big. I mean, it's just a triangle after all, so I don't think I'll miss it too much. But yeah, I understand its significance, so yeah, that is it for this video. Not much more to add to any of this, so yeah. Don't forget to vote for next season's team, link is in the description. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you all so much for watching, and as always, stay sharp.